If you're watching this video, you most likely want to lose fat and build muscle at the same time. You want to look leaner but not smaller. You want to gain more strength but not spend 2 hours inside the gym. Maybe you tried bulking before, then cutting, then bulking again, then cutting, but you still end up stuck in the same place. But don't worry, because in this video I'm going to show you exactly how I was able to body recomp, lose 70 pounds of fat while building real strength without having to track every single gram or do the traditional bulking and cutting. So once again, I'm going to show you in this video exactly how to body recomp, which is losing fat and building muscle at the same time. And after you finish watching this video, I promise you don't have to cut or bulk ever again, because that's not the only way to go about it. So the most common misconception in the fitness industry is that you have to cut, but if you cut, you have the chance of getting smaller, or you have to bulk in order to build muscle, but you have the chance of getting fat again. And what if I told you I was able to lose 70 pounds of fat and build muscle at the same time without having to do the traditional cutting and bulking? Because at the end of the day, body recomp, it's not about picking a lane. It's not about choosing cutting or bulking, but at the end of the day, it's about structure. And before I go on and showing you guys exactly how I was able to lose 70 pounds of fat, I'm gonna show you exactly how I looked beforehand and how I look now after a body recomp. So this was me at 210 pounds. If we look at this first picture here, I was wearing something baggy to try to hide my fat, but it was pretty obvious, right? I had the man boobs, they were like kind of saggy. You could tell that I was just round and boxy. And this baggy shirt, long sleeve, whatever it is, it wasn't doing me justice. You could still tell I was overweight. And just to make matters worse, look what I was eating. I was eating cheesecake bites, right? The most gluttonous thing that you could think of. Right here on this picture, I was caught off guard, but you could just tell my double chin. I was overweight, and you could tell with this shirt. These buttons were about to explode. It looked like they were about to explode. This picture, I didn't want to get my picture taken because I was just unconfident in how I look. You could tell with the smile, it was a half-ass smile, right? I wasn't fully smiling because I wasn't really confident. I had a circular face, I had round cheeks, and just overall, I didn't want to get my picture taken here. This was at my peak weight, 210 pounds, right here. I mean, you could just tell with my face, I was not happy. This is when I decided to take a picture in the mirror and say this was the last day I was gonna look like this. And as you could tell, man boobs, I had no muscle at all on my arms, crazy love handles, and just a round belly overall. Also for this picture, I just looked really boxy, as you could tell. Once again, round cheeks. My face was just really round in this picture. I mean, you could just tell, right? The shirt was not hiding. I'm even surprised that I wore a white shirt. I would usually wear black all the time to try to hide my fat. And this was in my skinny fat stage, right? I was able to lose and shred a couple of pounds, but just like I said in the beginning, if you cut, you have the chance of losing muscle. I didn't even have muscle to begin with. So I just ended up with this skinny fat look. I was skinny, but I was still also fat with no muscle at all. So I just looked really soft here. And that's what happens when you take the cutting route. I wish I had a picture to show you guys of my bulking route. It was honestly the same as here, right? I had some muscle, but I just didn't look like I lifted. At the end of the day, it was just an excuse to overeat, to indulge, and to eat my favorite foods without feeling guilty. But you know, it was never worth it at the end, right? When I was 210 pounds, all these pictures that I showed you, I was avoiding mirrors. I always wore black to try to hide my fat. I used to play sports, right? I used to play soccer. I used to move like an athlete. I used to be really good at soccer. And then somewhere between work, school, study, I just lost that version of myself, and you know, I gained a ton of weight. I ended up at 210 pounds, and this was during COVID. But right, if you say you're overweight because of COVID now, that's like the worst excuse, because COVID happened like a decade ago. So you can't bring that up anymore. I would get winded simply by going upstairs. I would sit out during pickup games that I used to be good at, like soccer or basketball, because I couldn't keep up. If I would play, I'd play for 5 minutes and get tired, right? Once again, I tried bulking. It was just an excuse to overeat, indulge, and it never worked. I tried extreme cuts. I tried cutting carbs, cutting the foods I enjoyed, cutting anything that felt good. And just after 2 to 3 weeks of fully restricting myself, because you can't fully restrict yourself, your balance will just fail after 2 to 3 weeks, and that's what happened to me. And at 210 pounds, I knew exactly what to do. I knew how to lose fat, but there is a difference between knowing and doing. There were 2 different countries, for example, and I couldn't find and bridge the gap between those two. And something that a ton of people struggled with, and I struggled with a ton, was restarting every single Monday. Be perfect Monday through Friday, and then the weekends would just completely destroy me. I would feel guilty and restart. Monday. So that was me at 210 pounds. I was overweight, I was unconfident. I didn't like the way it looked. And right, this day, like I told you guys, that was the day I made a promise to myself to change. And right, as you can see on the right side, I changed. I'm the most confident I have ever been in my life. And it's only up from here. Right, from this picture, you could see that I have a nice V look. I have the abs that I always wanted. I have veins that I always wanted. Right? I have the nice definition that I always wanted. I have the confidence to now just take selfies at random. I never had the confidence to do this. I have a nice jawline, cheekbones right here, confidence to take pictures. Once again, I look good in tank tops. I never used to look good in tank tops because my man boobs would just stick out. I have a nice bicep vein, profile, shoulders. I just look overall bigger, the good bigger. If I was bulking, I used to say, I looked big when I was bulking. That was correct. I did look big, but I just looked big and bulky, if that makes sense. I didn't look good. If I had a shirt on, you wouldn't know that I would go to the gym. If you saw me with the shirt on, a tight shirt on, looking like this, you would know I lift, right? I have nice arms. I have beautiful chest striations. My chest is like the strongest point in my body. Beautiful traps, nice forearms, nice and defined. I have abs. Overall, I just look better, right? I have the V look that everybody wants. Broad shoulders, a nice chest, right defined abs. Once again, great arms that I never used to have. I never used to have arms that looked like this, right? We could look back over here. No muscle definition at all. And then just the difference, honestly, the difference is just night and day. I look way better at 150 than 210. And you could tell that they're two different men. They're not the same men. And at 210 pounds, I fell for the industry lie, right? And you're most likely falling for it too. You either hear people say that you have to bulk hard in order to gain muscle, you have to cut hard in order to lose fat, you have to track every single gram forever. And those three are just the biggest ones, and they're the biggest lies, right? You have to do 6 days of cardio in order to get in shape. You have to cut carbs in order to get shredded. You have to wait for more motivation in order to see results. But at the end of the day, all this is a lie. It's one of the biggest industry lies out there. And I'm here to tell you, you don't need all that. What you do lack and what you are falling for is the lack of structure. You don't have any structure at all. That's why you feel like you're lost. That's why you're not seeing results. That's why you feel like you're all over the place. It's because you lack that structure that you need. And don't worry, this is exactly why you're watching this video today. You're gonna learn exactly how you can lose fat and build muscle using the JP method. And that's the method I created. And that was the method I used in order to go from 210 pounds to 150 lean. And the JP method consists of 3 pillars that are simple. And guess what? In those pillars, no calorie tracking is needed, no cutting is needed, no bulking is needed. Those are all the industry lies that people feed you. And all of this, it's not needed in the JP method. And once again, the JP method consists of 3 pillars, 3 very strong pillars: repeatable meals, progressive lifting, and a controlled deficit. I know this all sounds a little complicated, some of them, especially the controlled deficit. How am I gonna sit here and tell you you're not tracking calories with the JP method, but then I talk about a controlled deficit? I'm gonna tell you exactly what I mean there, but trust me, no calorie tracking needed at all. So I'll get into the JP method right away. The first pillar, and this is extremely important, this is what my whole page is about if you go follow my Instagram. Repeatable meals that are protein focused, that are whole foods, and that you enjoy, that you can repeat every single day. Because predictable meals get you predictable results. If you know what you're eating for breakfast, lunch, dinner, as a snack, as a dessert, every single day, then you're gonna have predictable results. Because if you eat like that for a whole week and you know you lost some weight, eating that exact meal plan for that whole week, you know every single week that is coming up, you'll lose 1 pound. It's that simple. And just to give you guys some like meal examples, as you could see, everything is whole foods, protein focused. Steak, eggs, avocado. I have no carbs here because this is my dinner. I only eat carbs before and after my workout. That's it. Once again, for breakfast, I have some carbs: raw honey, sourdough bread, banana, dates, strawberry. This is all after my workout. I need to refuel after my workout. And that's exactly why I'm having carbs. And I have an amazing protein source: ground beef, high in protein, low in fats. It's super lean and it's super efficient. Protein pancakes after my workout. This is made with banana, 2 eggs, and protein powder. Carbs and protein, right? And you're getting some fats from the eggs. Greek yogurt bowl. This is my snack that I have almost every single night. I don't have to give into certain cravings because I have this every single time. And once again, another steak dinner. Keep it simple, keep it enjoyable. So once again, you could repeat it every single day. That's the point. Now, the second pillar to the JP method is progressive lifting. I know it sounds kind of complicated, but I'm gonna dumb it down for you guys because it's simple, right? Not because you guys are dumb, but because it's simple. For progressive lifting, for this pillar, all you need is 3 to 4 sessions per week, not 7 days throughout the whole week. 30 to 45 minute sessions, not 2 hours, like the industry tells you. Because when following the 3 to 4 sessions per week, 30 to 45 minutes, and progressive lifting, you'll get stronger, or you'll maintain muscle, and you'll end up burning fat efficiently. Now, what is progressive overload? Progressive lifting. Every single week, I want you to increase the weight and the reps you're doing for each set, for each workout. For example, if you're doing, we'll talk about the bench press. If you're doing bench press, right? I'm doing 185 here for bench press. This is my second set, technically my first working set. If I'm doing this for, let's say 10 this week, today, next week, I'm gonna aim for 11. Or next week, instead of 185, I'm aiming for 190, right? That's a big jump, but the point is to increase the weight and the reps every single time. How I put it and how I tell my clients is once you reach a certain level, which is 12, right? Once you reach 12 reps, you beat that level, right? Let's say you did 12 reps with 135 pounds, right? Sorry for the handwriting. Let's say you hit 12 reps with 135 pounds. You're done with 135. You're never going back to that weight. You beat that level. You increase the weight to, let's say 145, and you aim for 8 would be like a realistic number. And each week you try to go for 9 reps, then 10 reps, right? And you get the idea here. Until you reach 12 reps. And what happens when you reach 12 reps? You beat that level. So you never go back to 145 again, right? You beat that level. So you go to 155 and so on, right? That takes time, but that's the point. Progressive lifting every single week. And that's the second pillar. Now the third pillar, this is where all the shredding happens, right? We're not cutting carbs at all. This is the controlled deficit. Now, I'm not telling you to track calories, right? The main reason you lose fat is by being in a deficit. That's why people tell you to track calories. But at the end of the day, when you're tracking calories, you're just getting good at math, but not understanding how your body works, what your body needs. So that's exactly why I have it as a controlled deficit, right? Once again, in order to lose fat, you have to be in a small deficit. Now, in order to be able to be in a deficit, this is why I always tell you guys to keep your protein high. Protein is a lean source of calories, right? Protein keeps you full and satisfied, and protein obviously helps you build muscle. That's why protein is extremely important for things like this, for not having to track calories. You need protein to be the biggest portion of your meals, right? For example, the steak, right? I had just a few veggies and a small teeny amount of carbs. Same thing right here. Huge portion of protein, steak and eggs, and just a very small portion of fat and carbs, right? And you need portion awareness. I am not going all out on both of these plates, right? Especially this one. I grabbed my protein, a little bit of carbs, a little bit of veggies because we need nutrients, and that's it. I didn't grab 5 pieces of steak, 2 freaking cups of rice and like fried things. No. You need to keep it whole foods and you need to keep it minimal because you're eating until you're satisfied. Not till you're stuffed, not till you're full. So that's what I mean by portion awareness. And this takes time, right? Every single week you need I'm gonna go into it now actually. Obviously no junk. I mean, come on. It's a no-brainer. You're not gonna eat crumble cookies and expect to lose fat. No junk, only 5-10% of the time. But I wanna have a cheat meal up until I lost 5 to 10 pounds. Now, going back to portion awareness and how I said it takes time, you need to do weekly check-ins because you need to ensure that you're eating the right amount of food in order to lose 1 pound per week. That's why you have those weekly check-ins. Check in the first week, then the next week. If you didn't lose anything, you have to cut something from your breakfast, from your lunch, from your dinner, and then you keep repeating that. And lastly, the most important thing is daily movement. You either go on runs just a few times throughout the week. If you really want to push yourself, they're mainly jogs, not runs. You either walk at home in a treadmill, right? Or you either just walk around the park or just do a few sprints around here and there, but no excessive cardio. Just make sure you're just active throughout the day, walking your dog, walking around the house, walking around your job, walking during your lunch breaks. Just make sure you're just walking, because anything above zone 2 cardio will have the possibility of burning muscle. You don't want to burn muscle. You don't want to lose muscle. You want to burn fat, and that's what zone 2 cardio is for. And those are the 3 pillars of the JP method. Sounds simple. It is simple. It was quick. because it's simple, quick, and effective. And I'm not the only one that follows the JP method. I have multiple clients here who are able to see results following the JP method, and I'm just gonna go through them really quick with you guys. Obviously, the biggest client result is myself. I was a part-time student, part-time worker, and I didn't track calories or spend hours inside the gym, and I was able to see this result right here. Go from 210 to 150. Angel, he's also a full-time worker, working 50+ hour weeks. He didn't track calories or spend hours inside the gym, and he was able to see this result. He's able to gain 15 pounds, and he got leaner. He gained 15 pounds, but he looks leaner. That's insane, if you ask me. Alexis, he's also a full-time worker, working 50+ hour weeks, and he was able to go from the skinny fat stage to this bulky, buff dude, right? He looks bigger than me. Once again, without tracking calories or spending hours inside the gym. Isaac, he's a full-time worker. He lost, it's not 12 pounds of fat from today, it's 14 pounds of fat in 2 months while building lean muscle, right? 14 pounds of fat in 2 months while building lean muscle without having to track calories or spend hours inside the gym. If you ask me, that is absolutely insane. All these people are following the JP method. Nothing different from what I showed you guys. Jose, full-time worker, he lost 6.5 pounds of fat in 1 month while building muscle. Eric, full-time worker as well, lost 6.7 pounds of fat in 1 week while building muscle. Carlos, this one's insane. He lost 5 pounds of fat in 1 week while being on vacation. There's no excuse. He was on vacation and he lost 5 pounds of fat without tracking calories. Jesse, he's a desk worker. He lost 8 pounds of fat in 1 month while building lean muscle as a desk worker who works a ton. This guy worked a ton every single day. Adonis, he's a firefighter. He lost 15 pounds of fat in just 6 weeks while building lean muscle. And once again, all of these people didn't track calories or spend hours inside the gym. And I know you're probably saying a few things that you might say that maybe they did work full time, but I just don't have the time because I work even more. Or maybe they have some special trait to lose this amount of weight and build muscle, or maybe it's not for me. I've heard these things a ton of times when I talk to people, and I wrote them all down over here. I want to go over it with you guys just to break that belief of yours, right? Because I hear the same excuses every single time, and I had the same excuses. That's why I want to go over it with you guys right now, because those exact excuses was exactly why I was stuck at 210 pounds, because I had that belief in my mind. I could tell myself I didn't have time, but you don't need 2 hours a day. You need 3 to 4 structured lifts per week and a repeatable nutrition plan. That's it, right? Like the JP method. The JP method is all you need, and it only takes 2 hours out of your whole day. Even less, maybe. Most men waste time guessing, when in reality, structure is what they need because it saves time. You most likely have tried before but didn't see results, and to that I say you have tried, but you tried extreme dieting, you have tried guessing, you have tried relying on motivation, but you didn't try a repeatable system. That's the difference there. If what you were doing was the correct thing, you wouldn't be watching this video. You wouldn't be needing help. You wouldn't be stuck in the same place. It's reality. Some people think finding help is a sign of weakness, but in reality, that shows a sign of strength, because not many people want to admit that they need help. Not many men, especially. I hear a ton of people saying that they don't have discipline. I don't think I need to go over this, but I'll go over this with you guys. Discipline is not the problem. When you make something that's complex, it requires an insane level of discipline. I'm not telling you guys that you don't need discipline in order to see results. Obviously, you need a little bit of discipline. But when people follow something that's way too complex, that's when crazy discipline is required. All you need, like I said, and I keep repeating this, is a repeatable structure, because that removes the need for the discipline. Not entirely, but the complex level of discipline that you need, the superhuman level of discipline. And this is a line I always tell my clients. When your meal and workout plans are automatic, willpower becomes irrelevant. I can't give up foods I like. You don't have to, right? The JP method is not a 0 carb diet. It's not chicken and broccoli forever. It's not meals that you hate forever. It's structured flexibility around you, around your lifestyle, around your schedule, around your preferences. Because at the end of the day, when your calories are controlled and you're keeping your protein high each meal, you can live like a normal human being, not a superhuman, not someone who fully restricts himself, not with this David Goggin mindset, because that destroyed the mindset of every single man, having to go all out, having to have this superhuman mentality and strength and discipline. But we don't need all of that. We don't, because we have other responsibilities outside of fitness. Or most men tell me that their metabolism is messed up, but to them I tell them that their metabolism isn't broken. It's just adapted to the inconsistency of crash dieting every single time you've tried. All you need is a small deficit, progressive lifting, and consistency, because consistency restores efficiency. I'm gonna say that one more time. Consistency restores efficiency. Your body responds to patterns. Like I said, when you have predictable meals, you get predictable results. And last but not least, people have that fear of thinking that it won't work for them. People think that they're special. People think that they, for some reason, can't lose weight, can't build muscle, because they were genetically gifted with something that doesn't allow them to do that. I never talked to anyone that genetically can't lose fat and build muscle. If that's a thing, I am sorry. But for most people, it works for everybody. If it works for me, it could work for you. But most people who say that are just guessing all the time. And obviously it doesn't work for people who guess. It works for people who follow structure. The JP method isn't complicated. I created it so I could simplify it because I hated complexity. I hated fully restricting myself. I hated cutting out my carbs. I hated cutting out foods I enjoyed. I hated doing excessive cardio. I hated spending 2 hours inside the gym. At the end of the day, it's consistency. And consistency always wins. And I want to leave you guys off with this. You're not lazy. I promise you, you're not lazy. Because you still have that fire inside of you to get in shape. If you were lazy, you wouldn't have that fire. You wouldn't be watching this video. You wouldn't have finished up until the end. So I could tell that you're not lazy. You've simply been guessing this whole time. You've been seeing TikTok videos, you've been seeing YouTube videos, you've been seeing Instagram reels, you've been seeing Facebook videos, and you've been doing what they've been telling you to do. But those videos are just basic information. Those videos are for people that live and breathe fitness. Those videos are made by fitness influencers who do that all the time. So obviously they look good. That's their job, that's their life. But you, on the other hand, have responsibilities, have a job, have a family to take care of. So when you implement it in your life, it's not gonna work because it's not meant for you. And then you end up doing something else because the other thing didn't work. And you just keep on guessing every single time. So if you're tired of guessing, first of all, that's exactly what this video was made for. But secondly, that's exactly what I do. I help people stop guessing and I help people put structure into their system so they stop guessing. So if you're tired of guessing and not seeing results, I'll have a link down below to my Instagram. All you have to do is DM me the word Recomp. So I know that you came from this video and I'll help you out. I'll help build out your plan and finally see the results that you want to see. Finally build that body that you want to have. Finally grow confidence in how you look. Finally being able to play with your kids without feeling tired all the time. Finally being able to wear the clothes that you want to wear. Finally being able to wear tight shirts and not having to wear baggy shirts. Finally being able to go upstairs without feeling tired all the time. Finally being able to feel confident in taking pictures, taking selfies. Finally not being the odd one out by being out of shape, but being the odd one out by being in shape. Break the curse today. Break the cycle today. So DM me the word Recomp and I'll help you out. If you found this video helpful and you want to see more videos like this, just subscribe, like the video, comment what you'd like to see next, and yeah, I'll see you on the next one.